Hot take: a calzone is just an Italian Pop-Tart.
I'm not having this conversation. I'm not. No, I've spent too much time at work having this conversation of like what is and isn't a calzone, what's a ravioli, what's
a
a salad, what's a soup, No, we're not having this conversation. No, I'm sorry. I've spent too long arguing that cereal is not a cold soup. It's not.
It's just a cereal.
I'm not doing that. Hello and welcome to the Nerdiest podcast, the show where nerds talk about nerdy things. I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Nick Barrett, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, my ride or die, Mr. Jackson Glass. And today, to kind of culminate and cap off Star Wars month, because we've revisited all 9 of the main movies, we're going to be ranking them on a tier list, which is bound to cause some hot takes, because I don't think Jackson and I are going to agree on everything. Even though we kind of like generally agreed on some of the points, I don't think we're going to agree on the ranking of these movies, but
There's a couple movies.
We'll see how that shapes out. We also have a little bit of news to go over because, it's been a while. Let's catch up on some of the news. Some actually really interesting stuff happened this week and in the past couple weeks that are relevant to bring up. But before any of that, Jackson, how have you been? I want to know how you're doing.
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a good week. It's not been too busy. It's not been too boring. I just released a YouTube video today. Just did an editing breakdown on my newest short film, Exit Interview. You could go watch it there at the Glass Studios. But very exciting about that. Was editing that a lot. Just doing different projects. Met with a lot of different people. We're kind of wrapping up on our next EP. So you can follow Jackson Glass on Spotify. And I think it's going to be really, really good. And we're shooting an album cover very soon, and I'm very excited.
Is this the fabled sophomore year part 1?
This is the fabled sophomore year part 1. Very, very exciting stuff. I'm very excited about it. Jackson Glass on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen. Anyway, also, don't walk to your nearest Target because I got a really good deal on some physical media. Now, I thought Target was getting rid of physical media. Yeah, me too. But for a mere $19.99 of your hard-earned dollars, you could have the Shrek Ultimate Collection. Hear me out. Princess Fiona's on the cover, and it says, "I'll rescue myself, thank you." A little feminist cover. That's fun. Go women. So, Shrek the Ultimate Collection, right? In this case, see all the DVDs in there? There are 6 movies, 10 shorts, 5 TV episodes, and a musical. So it's Shrek, Shrek 2, Shrek the Third, Shrek Forever After, Puss in Boots, Shrek the Musical, 10 shorts, and 5 TV episodes from The Adventures of Puss in Boots, right? For $20.
Dang.
Isn't that crazy? Granted,
that is kind of crazy.
It's not Blu-ray. It's not Blu-ray. But, honestly, movies that came out before Blu-ray don't look bad on DVD. That's what I'm going to say. I don't know if that's a hot take or what. In other news, this is a very random thing that I have been kind of reliving. And it's something that happened yesterday. And it happened when I was driving. And I was downtown because I had a meeting, and I was late to another meeting because I had back-to-back meetings, and I was late to a meeting, and I didn't know where I was going. I was going somewhere I'd never been before, and I was looking at my map. I'm really bad at driving in cities. For those who have never driven with me, I'm really, really bad at, city travel. Like, if you put me on the interstate, I can go straight and take an exit however I need, right? But if it's, a grid city, I somehow managed to get lost in a grid. So, I was at a red light, and it was at this moment where I almost ran over the mayor with my car. Let me set up this scene for you. So I'm in my car at a 4-way stop with like red lights, and I need to turn right. But you can turn right at a red light, right?
As long as there's no sign that says you can't.
Right. So I'm looking at my map. I'm like looking around. I don't see, no one is coming this way, so I can turn right. Cool. The one part I did not check was the pedestrian crosswalk, which is probably where you should check first. So I did the little like where you start to go and then stop really hard. And I was like, oh my gosh, someone's walking. And I look up and it's the mayor, who is now terrified to walk. He like jumped a little bit. I was like, I legitimately almost hit the mayor with my car. Sorry, pal. I didn't mean it. But yeah, that's
Somebody's getting taxed a little extra this year.
They would probably, I'd show up on the news and it'd probably think it was a hate crime when I'm actually just an incompetent driver. But anyway, that's my week. How about you, sir? How was your week? What are you up to?
Well, I didn't almost hit anyone with my car.
You actually hit someone with your
But
car?
I did freak out my coworkers because we went out to get lunch the other day and I was driving and I was like flying because my work is legit. Like my work is in the town, like the city where I live. So I'm just used to everything and like how people drive, and they're not because they live a couple cities over. So I was like driving, going like all this, and my one coworker was like sitting in the front. He was grabbing the handle. He was like, I don't feel safe. And I'm like, you should. Like, this is not that bad. Like, calm down. He's like, you're going 60 in a 45. And I'm like, yeah, so I can pass this clown next to me who keeps speeding up. Because we're going to Jersey Mike's. That's right here. So that was
Jersey Mike's.
That was great. My week this week has been really low key. It's been busy, but it's been low key. I would like to start off by saying on Monday, we went out to lunch and got Burger King, which was probably the worst burger I've ever had.
I feel like every week you try a new fast food place that I could have told you to avoid like the plague.
I really want to go out and get food tonight because I want to like redeem myself. So there's that. And then Tuesday we went to Subway. Now, the Subway sandwich wasn't that bad. I actually really liked the sandwich and the combination, but I got one of their foot-long churros, which was the worst churro I've ever had. Like, legitimately in my life. The worst. I've never had worse.
Can I ask what the best churro you've ever had is?
Costco.
I was really hoping it was going to be Costco.
Costco. Dude, they're opening a Costco in my city. It opens in 2 weeks. And I'm like, I can go to Costco for lunch because it's only 10 minutes from work. I can go to
and pay
Costco
like $3
and get the chicken bake and a churro for like $5.
It's dangerous.
It's going to cost me more in gas to get there than the actual food. But I'm like,
yeah.
Then I can get the cheap Costco gas too.
But that's a mental block for me. Like, I will drive twice the distance to get cheaper food when it's kind of like, because the food budget and the gas budget are so different that it's like, I gotta drive. I guess I gotta drive places.
They're separate. They're separate, but
they're
math.
Correlated.
Boy math, they're separate. So anyway. Other than that, I've just been cooking up some YouTube stuff, put out a long-form video today, recording, scripting, thumbnailing, whatever. I was going to live stream tonight because it's Friday, but then I decided to do the right thing and not because I'm tired and I want to break.
Job.
And I'm going to spend all weekend editing. We're doing this episode and we're also doing the after show right after, talking about the Miraculous Ladybug movie, which I really like, and Jackson dogs on for no reason, so I made him watch it. So if he's going to dog on it, at least he has valid reason to. So go check out the after show where we talk about that.
For a mere $3 a month, on Spotify, you could have access to our after show where we do a monthly movie club and watch movies, take turns picking movies the other person hasn't seen. So it's a great way to support the show. Speaking of supporting the show, you can follow us on Instagram at The Nerdiest Podcast, on YouTube at The Nerdiest Podcast, on Twitter at Nerdiest Pod, or go to thenerdiestpodcast.com to pick up exclusive merch, which we will have new merch dropping very soon, and I'm very excited about it. And I can't reveal it yet, but we're very excited about the new merch. So, I think it's time we hit some news topics. I think it's time we talked about the news. It's been a second, and some cool stuff happened. And I'm going to start with this one because it's not super related. It's just something that pissed me off this week. Apple just released, over the last few weeks, they've been releasing their top 100 albums of all time. Now, you can look up, this list is free to look at for anyone. A lot of the choices on there are very, like, of course, you know, like Guns N' Roses, Nirvana, like Hotel California, and let me see, what else? I mean, like, there's an Eminem album on there, Metallica.
What's their
the Jimi
metric?
Hendrix.
Is it like most listened to, or just, in our opinion, these are the top 100 of all time?
They
or like
said
most streamed?
it was the metric was they're like curated. So I'll just read what they said. They said, assembled with the help of artists and experts, it's a modern love letter to the records that have shaped the world we live and listen in today.
That's incredibly vague.
Yeah. So essentially, it's what we thought was the best. And it's not necessarily most streamed, but it's like most influential, I guess.
Taylor Swift's in the top 5, isn't she?
She's in the top 15. No, top 20.
Oh, that's...
Yeah. So it's kind of like...
interesting.
Number 99 is Hotel California. Great album. 98 is Astro World by Travis Scott. And I'm like, okay... Of all time, like of all the albums in existence, and you're putting Astro World on here, and you just keep going, like Flower Boy is an amazing album. Back in Black is number 90. You have like Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Eminem, but also like Elton John, Madonna, Steely Dan, you know, good big people. Let me just keep going down because, you know, Tupac, Arctic Monkeys, Rihanna's number 55, U2, Beastie Boys, Drake is number 47, which I'm like, all right, okay. We're not going to talk about Drake here. I have a lot of thoughts. Janet Jackson is on number 42. Beyonce's self-titled album Beyonce is number 36. Sure, Jagged Little Pill, Alanis Morissette. It's the top 30 where I start getting a little on edge. Number 30 is When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish, which is not even her best album, let alone the 30th greatest album of all time.
Yeah, that is something to keep in mind here. This is like saying top 100 movies of all time. Number 1, Dune Part 2.
Right.
Huh?
And you're like, huh? I feel like this stuff is so hard to categorize because, like, how do you... It's kind of like when they were like, Across the Spider-Verse is the best animated movie of the decade. And I'm like, we're 3 years into the decade. Like, you can't quantify that. So a lot of the stuff is like, now we could say, you know, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go is number 30, but we don't know the legacy it's going to live in the same way that, like, you know, Kind of Blue is Miles Davis's album is number 25. Like, that album's been out so long, we know its legacy. But some of the newer stuff is kind of hard. Like, Dark Side of the Moon is 28. That's an amazing album, and it deserves to be on there. So 23 is Discovery by Daft Punk, which I think it's an amazing album. I think Discovery is their best album, but because it's popular, you can't say it's their best album, so it's like whatever. Top 20. Number 20 is Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. Okay, sure. Number 18 is 1989 Taylor's version.
I mean, I don't even listen to Taylor Swift, and I could probably tell you, yeah, that sounds accurate.
I mean, 1989 is her most iconic album. I'll give him that.
Where?
Number 15
is
is
Michael
21
Jackson.
by Adele. We're going to get to that in a second.
Where's Elvis?
Elvis is not on the list.
Elvis
There's
is not
no
on the
Elvis.
list?
No Elvis. There's no Elvis. There's no
The King of
Aerosmith.
Rock is not
No,
on
literally.
the list?
I think there's one country album on this list. No Elvis. No
Apple
Aerosmith.
Music. How do you not include Elvis?
That's what I'm saying.
What?
Listen. Adele is number 15. Beyonce's Lemonade is at number 10. And I'm like, you guys are putting freaking Beyonce in the top 10? Like, sure, she's an icon. Like, she's influenced music
Can
so
the top
much.
10
but like,
be only people who have emotes in Fortnite? Can that be the new metric?
but then they're going to put Billie Eilish in the top 10.
Yeah, but I don't
you
know.
know, she has an emote. So top 10, Lemonade, Beyonce, Nevermind, Nirvana, of course. Back to Black, Amy Winehouse, iconic. Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar, yes, that deserves to be on there. He's the GOAT. Songs in the Key of Life, Stevie Wonder, great. Yes, perfect. Blonde, Frank Ocean, number 5. Okay, number 5, maybe a little high, but I'm not too mad. Purple Rain, number 4.
Okay, yeah, I
Deserves
figured
it.
Prince
Yeah.
was going to be up there.
Right. Number 3, Abbey Road, The Beatles. Okay, sure.
Okay.
One of the most iconic albums of all time. Number 2 is Thriller, Michael Jackson. I was convinced that Thriller was going to be number 1. Guess what number 1 is?
Is it an artist I know?
No, definitely not.
Then I don't know.
It's The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Lauryn Hill. And
Is that the One Country album?
no, it's like an R&B soul album.
What?
And I don't know if I'm just uneducated or if like everyone but me knows who that is. But most of the people I've talked to about this are like, who? Who is Lauryn Hill?
I feel like if you're going to make a list like this, number 1 has to be Elvis or Michael Jackson. You
Right,
can't, like,
right.
one, not having Elvis on this list at all. I'm sorry. I got to go back to that. That is
Right.
tragic.
That's just crap.
What? Secondly, I don't know.
It's just a bad take.
Like Michael
Who-
Jackson, like not even people who aren't big into music know who Michael Jackson is.
Right.
Like he was such a cultural icon.
He was the first pop star, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
So to
and,
not
like,
put him on here is really weird.
so like Michael Jackson, number 2, sure. What I think the biggest offense on this list is no Katy Perry. Hear me out. Hear me
Oh,
out.
that's a good point.
Teenage Dream is one of 2 albums in history to have 5 number 1 singles on one album. The only other person to do it was Michael Jackson. And
So
it was on his,
theoretically, she should be number 3.
she should, yeah. I just think that it's a crime to not put her. No Elvis, no Katy Perry, no Aerosmith.
Is Imagine Dragons on there?
No, we were joking. We were like, what if Imagine Dragons is top 10?
They could have been like, I don't know,
Like-
top 70.
What if we would have? There's no Coldplay. There's no Bruno Mars. Like,
What?
who?
Who made this list?
I don't know.
Cultivated
It's-
my butt. One person made this list, and this is their top
So,
100 albums of all time.
This is just sounds
And they've
like
never listened to Elvis. That's why
This kind
Elvis
of just
was
looks
on.
like someone went through my dad's old CD rack and
Well,
like
your
picked
dad's
out
old
a
CD
couple
rack would have
ones.
Elvis on it.
No, it would have, and it would have had Teenage Dream on it too.
Dad probably has better music taste than whoever made this list.
So I don't know. That just kind of pissed me off. Like 100 through 100 to 25, I could care less about because you could quantify that. But it's the like top 25 of all time that is a little like, okay, buddy, like this isn't a great take in my opinion, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you feel the need to drop a comment or send an email or whatever you need. I would love to talk about this with someone else. Yeah, that's part of the news. Anyway, moving on. Hit me with your next point.
Hit me with your next shot.
Da, da, da.
Won't you hit me with your best shot? I don't even know who sings that.
Do.
That's
That's
next news is kinda brief.
Joan Jett.
It's just we're getting a new
Joan Jett.
Nintendo store in the U.S., which is great.
Pat Benatar. Sorry, Pat Benatar sings that song. Anyway.
It's nice to have more than one Nintendo store on this continent.
But why San Francisco?
Yeah, why San Francisco, buddy? Why San Fran? Huh?
When we were last time I went to Disney World, Soarin' had this special thing where they played the original Soarin' over California. And when we were flying over San Francisco, someone in the row went, "Where's the homeless people?" And it was
Where's the
poop? And I was just like, that's so feral. Like, I don't know. I would go to New York over San Francisco.
I mean, neither of them are great, but if I had to pick one, I'd go to New York.
Yeah. So that's new Nintendo store.
New place
Anyway.
I'll never get to visit.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. We're going back to cable, basically.
Yay. Somehow
Comcast
cable
announced.
returned.
What a great throwback to last episode. This is as poorly explained as that.
Let's go.
So Comcast announced a new streaming bundle this week. For $15 a month, you can get Apple Plus, or Apple TV Plus, I guess,
Yeah.
Netflix with ads, and Peacock.
Premium peak.
Is this a good bundle? What do you think? There's nothing else to say. It's
For-
happening. They're doing it. Is it a good idea or no?
Here's the thing. For $15 a month, Apple Plus is essentially what Hulu did when they hitched their wagon to Disney Plus, and they were like, we are going to get lost in the shuffle if we're not in someone's bundle. So let's just attach ourselves to someone, because no one has Apple Plus intentionally. If you have Apple Plus, it's because you just bought an iPad and got a year for free and you want to watch Ted Lasso. Like, that is, no one is intentionally buying Apple Plus. So I think for them, this is a really good deal. But honestly, Netflix and Peacock are very similar streaming services, I feel, because there is some original content on there, but they're one of the ones that like cultivates content, you know? Like
Right.
Netflix has always been like the cultivator, and then Peacock is kind of becoming that now. Like, there's no like great Peacock originals, but there is great Netflix originals. So it's like, either way, I think in the age where you could pay $20 a month just for HBO, this is a really good deal. Like, if you just want to watch TV, you just want to watch movies, $15 a month for 3 services is a really good deal. And I'm not mad. I think this is probably the right way to go for streaming.
Yeah. I wish there was a way to upgrade slightly to get Netflix without ads. Like, I would do 20 or 25 a month to get all 3 if it was Netflix without ads.
Really?
But
I would
other
do 20,
than
but
that,
not 25.
I think it's fine. Like, I think
Right.
$15 for 3 services as opposed to like the 35 or whatever it would be normally, I think it's fair.
I think that's great. I think this is a really good, yeah.
My biggest issue is, one, how does this work logistically? Is it you just pay for it through one site and then you sign in with the same login?
Yeah, is it a universal login?
Or is it like you have to use Xfinity because it's through Comcast?
Right.
So do I have to use like the Comcast app to then get to these other 3 services? That's,
yeah.
I don't know. I also
Because
think this service doesn't appeal to me that much because we have Netflix through my family and we have the ad free anyway.
Right.
And I don't watch anything on Apple TV or Peacock that would justify me having it.
I think Peacock is slowly getting better because you can watch like Parks and Rec, The Office, but also they have a lot of DreamWorks movies on there. So if you want to watch like How to Train Your Dragon, Shrek, Madagascar, like movies like that, Peacock is the way to go. I think Peacock is really good for families.
Stole from Netflix.
Amen.
I will
think
get
if you have
Peacock
a family,
when
Peacock is where you go.
Whenever
When
the
the Community
movie
movie
comes out, I'll get Peacock. But until then,
yeah, I think this is something that a lot of families are gonna get, just because it's like, if you have kids, Netflix always has something for kids. Peacock always has something for kids.
Yeah.
But it's also like Netflix also has stuff for adults. Like, they have the wide range where like if you have HBO, you're probably there's not really a whole lot for your 3-year-olds to watch on HBO. Like,
right. I think the better bundle will
Mm-hmm.
be Warner Bros. Announced they're doing a bundle. We don't have a price yet,
yeah.
but they announced they're doing a bundle with Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max. And that's
be
a bundle
pricey.
I would consider subscribing for. But knowing
Yeah.
Disney, it's also going to be $15 a month. And it'll be Disney Plus
Yeah.
with ads, Hulu with ads, and Max.
Yeah. I mean, if they do 15 a month with ads, I mean, TBH, Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max are they're my top 3 services.
Yeah, that's a golden 3 right there.
So, like, that's a monopoly. So I would pay $20 a month for all 3.
I
Or
would
like
too,
25, even
as long as
25.
there's no ads. I don't like that we've gone back to ads.
Yeah,
I
I
really
don't hate making streaming cheaper. I think that's kind of because they were like Netflix was like, yeah, it's $18 a month for Netflix, and then they lost like 8 million subscribers, and they were like, yeah, you can't share passwords minus 6 million subscribers, and it was like,
Hey
hey guys, this isn't working. I also think it's really funny that for the last essentially 3 years, we've just been trying to salvage streaming. Like
We've
we
been
just
trying to go back to cable. What?
right.
The children yearn for cable.
They yearn for the cable.
They
And
never
even
didn't
Netflix,
want cable.
Even Netflix was like, "We're doing live events now," and I'm like, "This is just live TV.
It's just
like,
cable,
what do you,
bro.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
It's
so,
cable with the ability to watch it if you don't make the premiere.
Speaking of watching things later, if you didn't make the premiere, Fall Guy, which released 2 weeks ago, it went to theaters, is now available on digital.
That was quick. If this movie underperforms, we know exactly why.
Yeah. So I think that the model of release it to digital / streaming, like while it's still in theaters, is just not a good idea.
I thought we got rid of that because people started going back to the movies.
Right. Like when we did the whole like dual release thing where HBO was like, "Oh, we're going to release Dune in theaters and on HBO." And it was like, "Okay, well now your theater numbers are really low." And like they're like, "Why isn't no one going to the theater?" And it's
I
like,
can watch it at home on HBO
so I
Max.
can watch it at home. But then that drives having that content drives the price up on streaming services. And so now no one wants to pay for streaming services. But they also don't want to go to the movies because that's too expensive. And so it's just kind of like, what's the plan? Like, what are we going to do? We're kind of locked. Like, we're stuck.
Yeah, I also feel like they didn't give this movie enough time to get traction. Like, it didn't do well immediately, and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, to digital we go. Like,
Yeah.
it's Memorial Day weekend. Like, this episode goes out on Memorial Day.
Right.
So, why not at least wait to get it through Memorial Day weekend?
yeah.
And then if you want to, like, going into June, okay, now we'll put it on digital.
Yeah, now we'll go to
But,
digital.
like, I don't know, give it a chance.
But here's the other thing, like especially as a holiday weekend, I'm curious to see the numbers of digital sales versus theater sales. Like, would your theater sales have made more money than a digital sale? Because if I buy The Fall Guy for $20 on Prime, right? I can invite 50 of my closest friends over, and now they don't have to pay $12 each a ticket.
Right.
And so
you're
it's like,
losing money on digital.
so you're losing that, but also, would my 50 closest friends have gone to the theater? Probably not. And so it's like more eyes are seeing it, but people aren't paying for it. And I'm
Right.
just like, this feels like it's illegal. Like, why are you doing this? Because you're making less money. I don't know. I don't know if they were like, oh, let's just put it to streaming so that people can rent it over the holiday weekend. I don't know.
It's just dumb.
This is kind of dumb. It is. I don't know. But The Fall Guy's really great. So, like, whether you go to theater or digital, it's a great movie. But also, wait for the physical release.
Yeah,
If you-
like, I don't know.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, they're just strongly encouraging digital purchases, and I don't like it. I don't like the digital purchases that they're pushing because you don't own it. It's not yours. It's still Amazon's.
I like that whenever you buy something digitally on like Amazon, that's the justification people use for pirating, because they're like, well,
Yep.
if buying it digitally isn't owning it, then piracy isn't stealing. And I'm like, no. That's not. No.
No.
This is not your loophole for like piracy was still a thing
right.
even when you had a DVD. Piracy is not theft in you're stealing a movie. It's like if you take a DVD and you burn it and you upload it online, that's piracy because you're stealing from someone else.
Yeah.
And like distributing it. Distributing is the problem with piracy. They don't really care if you watch it. I mean, they do, but
right.
it's the distribution that's the problem, because that is illegal because it's copyright protected content.
Here's a question.
So
if I say I spend $20 on the Fall Guy on Amazon, the Fall Guy is mine. If I screen cap that entire movie to my computer, I have the fallguy.mp4 on my desktop, and I burn it to a DVD, but I'm the only one that watches it. Like, I just watch it with my family the same way that I would watch it on Amazon. Is that piracy, or am I downloading something I own?
on paper, yes. Morally, it's debatable, because there's somewhere in like the TOS of like you can't redistribute this whatever, and burning it onto a DVD would thus count as redistribution, even though you're not selling it. So like, yes and no.
Yes and no. It's so complicated.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know, like legally, but also like morally. But also like that makes no sense. I'm just trying to like be a devil's advocate for the sake of the conversation, where it's like that is just a really roundabout way to buy a DVD, you know, like just buy the freaking DVD, you idiot. Like, but I don't know. I'm like, what's the line? But we plan on doing a whole piracy episode at some point, so
one day
keep an eye out for that. We're just trying to find the right guest. Anyway, we have one more piece of news that happened a while ago that we haven't talked about because we've been doing Star Wars. So, take it away, please.
The Nintendo Switch 2 is real. We can stop speculating. Well, actually, that's a lie. We can't.
I mean, we can.
Nintendo
still
announced
speculate.
a couple weeks ago at the beginning of May that the Switch 2, they didn't call it the Switch 2, but they basically said, hey, the Nintendo Switch successor is happening, and we'll give you more information on it before March of 2025. And that's all we're telling you right now. And there'll be a Nintendo Direct in June, but there won't be any Switch 2 stuff there, so don't
look for
expect it.
Which was a good move.
It was a very good move, because I didn't even finish reading the tweet. I saw June Direct. I was like,
it's time.
and then I finished, and I was like, oh, never mind. Nothing. So a lot of the leaked stuff looks really good. Looks really promising. I'm really hopeful that it will deliver on everything that it's set out to do. Because if it does, I think it could go down as one of the best gaming consoles of all time. Because you're talking about the incredible Nintendo first-party games coupled with the ability to play stuff like Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate, GTA, what was the other big one? Final Fantasy. Like, all of these really big games that you would buy a PlayStation for, now you can buy them on your Switch and play them anywhere you want.
Yeah, they're bridging the gap.
They're essentially taking the Switch that's done really well, and they're making it more powerful. And that is a really good move for Nintendo right now, especially given the fact that, like, Microsoft just shut down a ton of studios, PlayStation's getting in trouble for something, and Nintendo's like, yeah, I mean, we're just going to do a Switch 2, and everyone's like, oh, but Nintendo games are ugly. And I'm like, yeah, at least Nintendo games are fun. And they come out somewhat consistently. Like this year, except with the exception of April, we've gotten a game every single month from Nintendo. And like a first-party game, too. Not like they're using someone else's game. But we got 2 in May. So we technically have gotten 5 new games this month. PlayStation, what do you got?
Ooh.
Xbox, what do you got? Exactly.
You hear that silence?
So,
You hear that silence?
dog on Nintendo all you want. And Nintendo has its fair share of issues. Don't get me wrong. They're not perfect. They got their own issues. But they're the least bad out of the big 3 gaming companies because at least they're making stuff. Like, PlayStation is like, yeah, we might not see another third-party AAA game until next year. And, like, the PS6 is supposed to come out in, like, a year and a half.
Yeah. And you're like, why?
Bro.
Why did I buy a PS5? Like,
the
why?
Wii U has more console exclusives than the PlayStation 5. That's embarrassing. And yeah, you can say not all the Wii U games were good. Okay, whatever. In terms of sheer number of exclusives, though, the Wii U has more. And that's embarrassing.
At least they tried harder.
Because they tried. They really tried. Let me tell you that. But it didn't.
But alas.
I'm just tired of the Nintendo Switch slander.
Yeah, you know,
I hate the Nintendo slander of like the games look bad and Tears of the Kingdom runs at not 60 FPS. Yeah,
it's also like,
but you can build a working mech in Tears of the Kingdom. You can't do that in Spider-Man 2.
I'm really tired of the narrative of stylistic equals bad, and it's like
Also true.
It's like if it's not hyper realistic, it's not good, and it's like. No. Tears of the Kingdom doesn't look like that because the Switch can't run anything better. Granted, even if it's true, their style was an intentional choice. We talk like if Tears of the Kingdom was on the PS5, you would be playing like a hyper-realistic Link that would like, you know, build these super like high FPS textured, like, you know, these 4K looking, like, no, they would still choose that style. Like, stylistic does not equal low quality.
Right.
It actually usually means more creative. And that's just what the Switch has to offer. And here's the thing. I think the Switch is a really great example of limitations breeding creativity.
Yes.
Because all the PS5 games, they look incredible, but like so many of them are just really not super playable and like super just not, the gameplay mechanics get a little lost, and it's like, okay, the Switch, they have to focus on that stuff because they can't not, like they have to, because they have to like mold the game around the power of the system, which is lower, but it's great. So it's like, if we take that, like take this creativity and put it with more power, I don't know, man, we might be unstoppable.
Tears of the Kingdom really like pushed the Switch to its limits, and that's what they did with that game. Imagine what they could do with basically double the power.
Yeah.
And a brand new Zelda game. Like,
bruh.
It's going to be insane. I still think Switch 2 is coming out March of next year, so we'll probably hear about it this year. And once we have a date, I think it would be fun to do like a Nintendo Switch retrospective episode.
It'd be so good.
Be like, let's do our top 10 Switch games. What do we love? What do we hate? Like, so.
I would love that.
But yeah, that's all I've got.
Everyone, start building your budgets now.
I have. What are you talking about?
Oof. Well, guys, here we are. All of Star Wars month has come to this. The final episode of this first annual Nerdiest Podcast Star Wars month.
This is our Rise to Skywalker, if you will.
Oh, this is our Revenge of the Sith, if you will.
But we're going to fight each other, and one of us is going to be evil
low-key?
and dead.
Low-key? Dibs on evil.
I mean, you got
dibs
the
on
hype
dead.
for it.
I mean, what do you
So you're the only one with a significant other.
What if I have the high ground? Anywho, so here we are on a tier list, ready to rank all the Star Wars episodes. Now, before I do that, I just want to say Star Wars Month has been a huge success. Thank you, everyone, for listening and getting involved and engaged. We really appreciate it. Also, what I'll say is we'd love to make this an annual thing, and there's so much Star Wars content out there to still talk about. So, if this is what you like, make sure you share the episode with a friend so that we know, and leave a comment on YouTube or on Instagram or send a message, whatever. We'd love to know your thoughts and what you want to hear us talk about Star Wars next year. We're very excited to continue this trend. So, here we are to rank the 9 movies that we watched over the last 2 episodes. Now, this is a tier list, meaning the tiers are from bottom to top. F for bottom, E, D, C, B, A tier, but then above A tier is S tier for
I'm going to be
superior.
alphabetically incorrect and get rid of E tier. We don't need that many
We
tiers.
don't need an E tier.
I'm also going to change F to Shadow Realm.
Shadow
For
Realm.
funsies.
So,
Because, I've been doing a lot of tier lists over on Nick with No K, so I'm kind of an expert.
you're pretty expert. So S is top, superior. A, B, C, D, Shadow Realm. What's
we
the
all
point?
know what's going in Shadow
We
Realm.
all know what's going in the Shadow Realm.
But we're going to make you wait.
So
Because maybe it isn't.
we also decided we're gonna agree. We're going to be making the same list, and so we're gonna have to meet in the middle on some stuff. So, do you want to start canonically or in release order?
I think we should go numerical.
Okay.
Because otherwise we're going to put all
So-
the originals way high up.
Yeah. So, what's hard about
Episode
this?
1, The
What's
Phantom
hard about
Menace.
this? I have to think about this in comparison, because I'm like, I would put that there, but compared to this one, I don't know. So the first one is always hard because there's nothing to go off of.
I think The Phantom Menace is a solid B tier.
B
It's
tier.
kind of like in the middle, but I think as we flesh out the list, it would be low B tier because it's
Yeah.
not quite C tier, but it's not like top of B. So like for now, it'll be top of B, but I think overall, it's a B tier because it's
Here's
good,
the thing. Yeah.
but it has its flaws and it's not that good.
I'm leaning more towards C tier because I think I think Attack of the Clones is better than Phantom Menace, but I don't want to put Attack of the Clones in A tier.
What? No, you put Attack of the Clones in front of it in B tier. You shift it around. That is how that works.
I don't know. Okay, Phantom Menace can be B tier for
Let's
now.
go.
And then Attack of the Clones. What do you
Is a
think?
C tier movie.
No.
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones is so much better than
No.
Phantom Menace.
Listen, I'll admit, I was a little too harsh on Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Last time we did this, I would have said it's like D or Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
But this time around, I think it's C. Like, it's made its way up. The dialogue is cringy and Anakin is horrid, and I know there's a reason for that, and that's like such a backwards justification of like George Lucas did this intentionally because he's a pent-up horny teenager and this is
right.
what he's gonna do. But I don't know.
No, but at least the thing about Attack of the Clones for me is it's way more engaging than the Phantom Menace. Like even if you have to cringe a little bit, Attack of the Clones still doesn't just sit in the desert for an hour.
You know what? I gotta admit, you're cooking there.
See?
Okay.
See?
Yeah, that's
Attack
fair.
of the Clones going
That's
in high
valid.
B.
You know what? I'm gonna change my mind. Phantom
Oh?
Menace can go in C. Attack
Let's
of the Clones
go.
can go in B. Now that I forgot about the like hour in the desert and how boring
See,
that was. I glazed over it. I didn't even think about it.
See, the Phantom Menace starts off really good. And you're like, oh, this is interesting. Okay. And then, like, half of the movie in the middle is like, Lord have mercy. What are we doing?
Same.
And then the end is really good. And so it's like, But Attack of the Clones, I think, is good throughout. It's just kind of long and like drags a little bit, but not near as bad as The Phantom Menace. And the dialogue like is cringy, but it's like engaging, you know?
Yeah.
So we have The Phantom Menace in C, Attack of the Clones in B.
Revenge of the Sith is an S tier.
Revenge of the Sith.
Come on. There should be no debate that it's an S tier movie. It is legitimately the best. It's a top 2 Star Wars movie. Think about how it ties everything together. Not only does it tie the prequels together, it bridges the gap between the prequels and the originals, and it even brings the originals full circle because you're able to see Anakin and how he turned into Darth Vader and the downfall of the Jedi and all of these things that were established in A New Hope that then like you had no context for, but you got the context and it was really good.
Okay, I'm sold.
Let's go.
Revenge of the Sith is S tier. Our first S tier.
What was keeping you from not wanting to put it in S tier?
I was like, when we do tier lists like this, I think the thing about tier lists is I really hate when people just hand out S tiers like it's candy. No, you can't just put everything in S tier. And that's what's going to be really hard as we go into the originals. Is like they're not all S good, but they're not all S tier. No. So A New Hope.
This is hard.
A New Hope high B or A? Because so many people would be like, "How dare you put A New Hope in A?
How dare you put any of the originals not in S tier?" All right, nostalgia boys, like, get out of here.
Or like, how dare you put A New Hope in B? But also, I got to think about
the rest of the list.
In comparison, the rest of the list. So is A New Hope, because A New Hope is better than Attack of the Clones, but is it like A tier better, you know?
I think there's a take on here that's going to shock you.
Okay.
It's not this one. I think A New Hope is... I think it's A tier. It's the original Star Wars. I don't think you get away with not putting the original Star Wars in A tier.
Okay. I think that's fair. See, the problem is, like, I can put that in A tier, but now I'm a little like, oh, here's a take that I think will cause a ripple.
Uh-oh.
I think Empire goes in low A.
I agree with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm not saying Empire Strikes Back is a bad movie. By no means.
Not at all. Not
at
all.
Is that what I'm saying? But I think the bigger thing about Empire is it's really good, but it'd be really hard to watch as a standalone movie.
That's the thing.
And I think a lot of the reason people rank it higher is because they had the historical context of not having all the other movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And because we do, I think that affects it a little bit. Because, like, we already know Anakin is Luke's father. They're siblings. Right. Like, all of these big reveals that come in don't really mean that much. Now, did I gush about them on that first episode? I sure did. That doesn't make them any worse. I just don't think so.
It's hard. It makes the impact harder for people like us, which is stupid. Like, that sucks. And I hate saying that. But, like, yeah. And also, like, this way through, Empire was a little harder to get through for me. Like, I feel like all the Cloud City stuff is really great, and the battle on Hoth will forever be iconic. But it's just not my favorite of the originals. Like, it's good. It's amazing. They're all 5 stars. But if I compare them, I'm like, it's not my first choice to just turn on. Because I would just turn on Return of the Jedi. I've done it before. Or I would just turn on A New Hope. but I don't think I would just turn on Empire,
Right.
which I feel like is a hot take.
Just funny because I'm the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I
In
would
what
just turn
way?
on Empire Strikes Back and not the other two.
Really?
Before this
Interesting.
rewatch, the other two were nowhere near my favorites in any way, shape, or form.
Interesting. Okay. We can go over our favorites after. and
I'm going to
talk about
pull out,
that.
when we're done, I'm going to go on Letterboxd and pull out my Star Wars ranking, like my personal of all
Yeah.
of them, and see how much that has changed after watching at least the main 9.
Yeah. So Empire goes in low A.
Yeah, I mean, it's just behind A New
Dang.
Hope. It's not that low.
Dang. Right.
Return
right.
of
It's
the
not
Jedi.
low.
I think we're going to disagree here.
S tier.
No.
Yes,
No.
please.
High A.
Return.
High A.
No.
Make me a case for S tier.
It's Return of the Jedi.
That's
You
not a
get
good- that's not a good
Jabba-
opening
Okay, hold on.
argument.
I'm not done yet. So it's so much higher stakes than the rest of the originals because A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back set up everything that gets to actually happen in Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi is them doing what they've been talking about this entire time. And the action is incredible. You get the greatest redemption story in history of Darth Vader going to the light side. You get the final Ewok Endor fights. You get Luke and Vader fighting the Emperor. You get the final big happy ending. Force ghosts are here. You find out Luke and Leia are siblings. You get Yoda's death. There's just so many iconic moments. Star Wars wouldn't be what it is without Return of the Jedi. I think Return of the Jedi is the most Star Wars that we have. And so I can't disrespect it by putting it in anything but S tier. I think it's on par with Revenge of the Sith. I will say that. I think Return of the Jedi needs S tier.
I was going to say high A above the other two. I do agree it's really good.
Yeah.
And you get all of those things coming together, and I think that's
Yeah.
great. Narratively speaking, it's a really good movie. It just doesn't feel like S tier to me.
Why? What about it is an S tier?
It doesn't give off the aura of an S tier movie.
No.
I don't know. I feel like the problem with... So here's the thing. Revenge of the Sith, you could show someone that movie with no prior... you could start them at 3. It would make sense. There might be a little plot holes here and there. Sure, a little bit.
It wouldn't be the full effect, but
Right. But they'd still get the general gist of it. Return of the Jedi, you cannot do that with. Return of the Jedi is very lenient on the other two movies to set those things up.
Yeah, but that's what we said about Empire. And that's
Right.
why it went to A tier.
And that's why it went A tier, not S tier. High A. You know what's sad? We're not going to get...
What?
There's not another S tier movie on this list. That's the problem.
That's what makes me sad is I feel like Return is the only other S tier movie on this list.
Well... I don't know. I can make a pretty strong case.
I strongly doubt that.
Call me an attorney because we're about to go to court. I could make a strong case. Maybe not for S, but for high A at the
Okay.
very least.
Return of the Jedi can go to high A.
Heads or tails?
Heads.
Okay. Heads, it's S. Tails, it's A.
Tails, it's A.
Flip a coin. Oh, you can't see that.
What's it say? I can't read it.
She said it's
disappeared.
tails. It went away.
Oh. Fine.
High A. It's better than
High
the
A
other
for
two,
Return of the Jedi.
but I'll give it. All right.
So, just an update. Revenge of the Sith in S tier. And then in A tier's Return of the Jedi, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. B tier is Attack of the Clones. And C tier goes to The Phantom Menace. Very interesting. I didn't expect the entire original trilogy to miss out on S tier.
I didn't
think
either.
That's really interesting. Okay.
Me neither.
Here we are at
The Force.
The Force Awakens.
Should have stayed asleep.
The Force was not awake.
Can we talk about how they
Shoot.
missed the opportunity to make a sentence with these Star Wars titles? The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, Duel of the Fates.
Yeah.
Could have worked if you put a
Could have worked.
comma, The Last Jedi, Duel of the Fates.
The Rise of
It's just
yeah,
Rise
it just
of
doesn't
Skywalker.
hit.
It doesn't ring.
Hit. Doesn't hit. You know, the Rise of Skywalker.
The Last Jedi,
The
Rise of
Rise of-
Skywalker. No.
It even
Alright.
could have been The Rise of Skywalker. But it's just no Rise of Skywalker. I'm just like, bruh.
TFA, Force Awakens. I'm gonna give it a high B. I can't. There's no world where I can justify putting this on the same level or above any of the originals.
No.
There's no way, because it's
But
just
I'm
a New
also-
Hope, but slightly, ever so slightly worse, with expounding potential that never
In
gets followed up on.
HD.
Literally, it's the Force. It's a New Hope in 4K HD, and we threw a black guy in there for the representation clicks. That's legitimately what The Force Awakens is.
That's not how the Force works. Listen. High B. It can go right ahead of Attack of the Clones.
Better than Attack of the Clones.
It is better than Attack
I'll
of the
give
Clones.
you that. It's not my favorite,
but
but
it's
it's
not-
better than Attack of the Clones.
But I can't put it above Empire. Like, I would literally get shot in the street. Like, that is not...
Well, lucky for me,
No.
I'm wearing Kevlar, because I might be about to get
So-
shot in the streets. I think
Here we are at The Last Jedi.
The Last
Tell me...
Jedi is at bare minimum, A tier. Not saying it has to go above Empire. I think The Last Jedi is the only sequel trilogy movie that could enter the ring for an S tier conversation. I'm not saying it's
No.
gonna win. I'm just saying it's the only one who could get in the ring.
The Last Jedi can go in low B.
No.
I would watch Attack of the Clones
No.
over The Last Jedi
No.
any day of the week.
No. You can't make The Force Awakens better than The Last Jedi.
Watch me.
No.
Watch
It's
me.
A tier at the very least.
No.
It's the best out of the sequels.
No.
Yes, it's
No.
the commentary on the Jedi and the light side is so good because it brings in the concept of maybe we need to do something different. Maybe we need to have a balance in the Force. What does it mean to have balance? There's black, white, and gray in the world. Maybe we need to find a balance somewhere in the middle. And that's kind of the theme of the movie. Because Poe is like, either Holdo's good or she's bad. And Finn's like, well, either you're good or you're bad. And Rey's like, well, there's either light or maybe there's a balance somewhere in there. Like, Kylo Ren's not entirely evil, and I'm not entirely good, so, like, maybe there's a balance to be had there. And the concept of, like, the Force Discord calls, and Snoke getting killed in the second movie and not being the big bad. Revolutionary. I'm just saying it should be A tier for the effort of trying to change something.
A for effort.
It should get A for effort. The Force Awakens did nothing to change anything.
Yeah.
Except for adding another girl and Finn. And a droid that is a ball. That is all it did to change Star Wars. And even then, 2 of those things already existed in other movies. I shouldn't say things. That sounds very dehumanizing. There are other female characters and African American characters in Star Wars, in prominent roles in other movies.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing Han Solo back to kill him was not a good move. That's not a change. The Last Jedi sought to change.
See,
there's a joke there, but I don't want to make it.
There is effort. I appreciate the effort. But I can't excuse the execution.
You can't look me in the eyes and say The Force Awakens is better than The Last Jedi. There's no
The Force
way.
Awakens is better than The Last Jedi.
Way.
Look at me dead in the camera. The Force Awakens is better than The Last Jedi. Listen.
No.
Yes. No. The Last Jedi this time around was like my least favorite watch of these movies.
How?
I don't enjoy it. I think the story is convoluted. I don't like the style. And it's so frustrating because we've said for so long that Star Wars needs a stylistic movie. And here we are. It's stylistic and it was a bad style. It doesn't feel like Star Wars. It feels like a bad Guardians of the Galaxy movie that doesn't know what it wants to be. Rian Johnson understands Kylo Ren more than any other director. I will give them that. There was an attempt at a new story, at something new for Star Wars, and I really, really appreciate that. There was hope for something new, but the way it was done was so frustrating and boring to watch that I can't wrap my head around how hard it is to not fall asleep in this movie. This is the longest Star Wars movie. It's 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Stop using that as an
it's
excuse.
Too long of a Star Wars movie.
No.
It
that's
is
not
so
fair.
long. It drags so hard. And then by the time it's halfway done, you're checking your watch like, when are we going to do something? The characters, I can't. They ruined Luke. That was a terrible decision.
No. We had this conversation. They did not. He was in character for what they did. Should they have done what they did? No. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It was a bad move.
I appreciate the effort.
They stuck to at least they stuck to their guns. You know what didn't? The Rise of Skywalker, which put him right back where he was.
See, that's the thing, is the effort was there. I appreciate the effort, but the way that they did it, I can't get behind in any way. No. The effort was there, but like, why did Leia have to be Mary Poppins? Why did Laura Dern have to be there?
I'm not trying to justify everything to you. I'm just saying it's an A for effort.
It's just the little things that come together for me. I can't watch this movie. Like, I can't just turn it on. I don't know if I'm going to watch this movie again unless I do a full Star Wars rewatch again. I can't do it. It doesn't feel like a real Star Wars movie.
What a pretentious thing for you to say. Who are you to say it doesn't feel like a real Star Wars movie, huh?
I feel like that Vine where it's that lady where she's just like, that's just my opinion! So...
All right, flip a coin. We can't sit here and fight this all day. I'm not budging. You're not budging. So flip a coin.
So here's what's up. Flip a coin.
I'll take
you
tails.
Choose heads or tails.
Tails, it goes in A. Heads, it goes in B.
So tails, it goes in low A.
Yeah. It doesn't go above any of the originals, but it's on par.
Tails, it goes in high B. In low. Tails, it goes in low A. Heads, it goes in low B.
It's low either way.
Flip a coin.
Is that heads? Oh, it's gone now.
It said heads.
I believe you.
Also, that's my Duolingo streak.
Hey, yo.
139 days, baby.
I will never agree with putting The Last Jedi below The Force Awakens. That just feels wrong.
I can't do it. Hold on. I'm taking this side tangent. What are the reviews on The Last Jedi versus The Force Awakens?
Which one do you want to look up? I'll look up the other one to save time.
I'm looking up The Last Jedi on
Okay.
Letterboxd.
Oh, on Letterboxd? I was going to Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh. The Letterboxd is the voice of the people.
No, you're right. Let me... Oh, that's your review of The Rise of Skywalker. Oh, there's The Last Jedi. No, I'm my bad. I need The Force Awakens.
The Last Jedi on Letterboxd has a solid 3 stars. Let me see The Force Awakens.
What are you looking at? Are you looking at the weighted average?
Yeah.
Force Awakens is 3.3. Is it actually 3 stars?
Yes, you could look it up if you want. Return of the Jedi has 3-star average. Rotten Tomatoes. Let's look at the Rotten Tomatoes.
Ugh, 3.0.
See. Hold on, let me see.
The Last Jedi is the only one where I've watched someone's review go from 4 to 4.5 to 5. I didn't see that with The Force Awakens.
So The Force Awakens. Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me disable my ad blocker.
Just
I'm
hit
gonna
X
kill
or I
you.
won't.
Pause on this site.
You
Okay.
don't actually have to.
So I just disabled my ads, Rotten Tomato. Go eat a tomato. So Rotten Tomatoes audience score for The Force Awakens is an 85. Force Awakens is 85 for audience score. The Last Jedi is a 41.
What? No shot.
Mm-hmm. I'm not lying.
Whoa. What did the critics say about Force Awakens? Did they like that one too?
Critics put 93 on The Force Awakens. They put 91 on The Last Jedi.
Dang.
This
Man,
is a
still
losing battle.
really close.
I've got the data to back up. Listen. I think that's just an L.
I mean, critics gave Rise of Skywalker a 51%, and the
What
fans
did
gave it an
audiences?
86.
Gross. Who gave that movie an
Everyone was
86?
wrong here. 51
Disgusting.
is too
high.
high.
Which brings
Critics'
us to the
consensus. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker suffers from a frustrating lack of imagination, but concludes this beloved saga with fan-focused devotion. That is the biggest
No.
lie in the history of cinema.
Who paid you to say that?
Disney.
Oh my
For
gosh.
Star Wars
All
fans
right.
unhappy with the previous sequel, The Rise of Skywalker concludes this phase of the franchise on a relatively high note.
Relatively.
I don't think we've seen enough videos of people storming out of the theater at Rey Skywalker. What are you a high
See,
note? What are you talking
Rise
about?
of Skywalker on the Letterboxd has a solid 2.4 average.
How is it that high?
Yeah.
Who's putting
I-
5-star? Can we read some 5-star reviews of The Rise of Skywalker?
Oh my gosh, please. Hold on.
I want to hold on.
So
hold
we
on.
can all agree the Rise of Skywalker gets to go in the Shadow Realm.
Yes.
Right?
I wanna
Shadow
read some
Realm
of
Rise
these. I
of
wanna read
Skywalker. We're going to
ratings. I want to filter by.
ratings.
I want to filter rating.
I
Here we
want
go.
Reviews. Everyone.
5 stars. All
I
right.
want reviews. Rating.
Oh, why are these all
5
essays?
stars.
What?
This one just says good. This one says I miss you, Carrie Fisher. This one says 5 stars. Wish I was Rey so I could kiss Kylo Ren. Yeah, there's a lot of 5-star essays in here, and a lot of them are
Five
not in
stars.
English.
Frick all you letterboxed MFs for giving this anything less than 2 stars, and also frick all the misogynists for not adoring Rey, and also don't take this personally. Star Wars fans scare me. There's a lot to break down there.
This one says, in all caps, "Y'all are insane. Why do people not like this movie? This was the resolution to one, if not the best cinematic experience of my life in watching the entire saga, and I'm literally out of breath. I was so overwhelmed with every human emotion possible. I love all of these characters, and I love this movie. Frick, I love Star Wars to the core of my bones." Did we see the same movie?
What? I don't think you're talking about the right. I think you might be confused for Return of the Jedi. Maybe is what you're thinking of, not a truly spectacular ending to the newest Star Wars trilogy. I'd certainly rank this among the top 5 of Star Wars films.
Shut up.
No way.
Oh.
That's
This was really funny. It says, "Love this movie. Unfortunately, I went blind right after the Reylo kiss and didn't see what happened. Oh well, guess they all lived happily ever after and no one died."
This is the best review. A masterpiece. I thought it couldn't be done, but they tied everything we saw in 7 and 8 with a perfect bow in this one. Couldn't have asked for a better end to Star Wars. Scroll down. Just kidding, it was trash. 0.5 out of 5 stars.
That's good.
I respect the deception of placing a 5-star review only to say that it was not. I respect that.
That is good. That's so real. We need to do that more. This one says nostalgia watch.
Here we go.
What?
5 stars. I miss when Luke was sucking. This movie sucked. Yeah,
This one what?
deceptive.
Oh, wow. Incredible, amazing. Yes.
You want to hear the weirdest one? These 5-star reviews are weird.
Yeah, they're I'm sorry. Why are all the 5-star reviews on this movie so horny?
Did you see the one about 2.5 stars for Daisy Ridley?
No.
It's on page 2, I think.
Oh my gosh.
2.5 stars for. If you're a kid, you might want to pop your headphones out for like 10 seconds. 2.5 stars for Daisy Ridley's armpit shots. That scenery is NICE. And the other 2.5 stars are for whenever she appeared. That's it. That is so weird. I'm not saying Star Wars. Like, Star Wars means something different to everyone, but that's just wrong. That's no.
Star Wars fans are some of the greasiest people I've ever. Ew.
A lot of the reviews are talking about like a finale to the saga, and I think that's the biggest issue with this movie is that it tried to be a finale to a saga instead of being its own thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this movie would be as poorly received if it wasn't trying to be a conclusion to a concluded story.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is a very, very good take.
Like, I wouldn't hate this movie if it wasn't... Like, if it was just a conclusion to 7, 8, and 9, I'd be like, I mean, it's all right. It's
sure.
whatever.
You're like, cool.
Like, it's kind of dumb and stupid, but it's fine. It was fun, I guess. But
I guess. The reason that Rise of Star Wars fans hate Rise of Skywalker so much is because it not only decided to ruin the new movies, they tried their darndest to ruin all of Star Wars.
Yeah, they tried their darndest to drag down those other 6 that are already good.
Right. And it's like, it's a disrespect to Star Wars as a whole. So
I also can't stand the fans who are like, 9 movies. I think you only mean 6. And I'm like, all right.
It's like, all right.
I don't like the sequels as much as the next guy. But if you're going to sit here and pretend they're not canon, I think you have a bigger issue and you need to grow up and get over it. Like,
right. Because the thing is, like, throughout this whole month of Star Wars, that what I've learned was, don't let the sequels ruin your enjoyment of the prequels and the originals, because those 6 are great. don't let what modern cinema is trying to change it into ruin the classics, because they're
Right.
still good, you know?
Yeah.
So, would you like to look at our final ranking?
Yeah.
So, in Shadow Realm, we have The Rise of Skywalker. The movie is booty cheeks.
Took up
That's
like
what I will
half of
say.
my discussion in the last episode. We had to stop. I could have kept
Yeah.
going for
No, we literally-
hours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nothing in D tier, because, you know,
Nothing's that bad.
nothing in Star Wars, nothing except for, yeah. In C tier, we have The Phantom Menace. And then in B tier, in descending order, we have, ascending order, from worst to best, is The Last Jedi.
You really had to throw worst on that sentence.
Yeah. So the worst movie in B tier is The Last Jedi. And then the middle movie is Attack of the Clones. And then we have The Force Awakens in B tier. And then in A tier, we have The Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, and then Return of the Jedi. And then our only S tier for Star Wars is Revenge of the Sith. Now, I don't know if everyone expected that, but I really wanted Return of the Jedi in S tier.
I know you
but
did.
We all have to.
I
we
really
all had
wanted
to fight
Last
our battles.
Jedi in A tier.
I will keep Return of the Jedi in A tier to keep The Last Jedi out of it. that is a trade off I'm willing to fight.
I don't care if Return of the Jedi wins. I just want The Last Jedi to lose. Hey, at least you have better character motivation than what's his face,
What's his face?
General Hux. He's like, I don't care if
yeah.
the First
He's like,
Order
I don't care
loses.
if
I
it
just want
loses.
Kylo Ren to lose.
Right, and you're just like,
Bro, get out of here with your
get outta here.
shabby.
Go
No,
and star in a
no.
Peter Rabbit movie.
All right, I'm gonna go over real quick my letterboxed ranking
Yeah.
of Star Wars here.
When did
So
you
I have
make this
12 on
ranking?
here because I included Solo, Rogue One, and the Clone Wars movie. I made this like 3 years ago,
Okay.
and I haven't
okay.
touched it since then. I'm already
Okay.
looking at this. This is not accurate, but I'm gonna go from 12 to 1. I'll go
Okay.
ascending
Let me
order.
see.
In 12th, we have The Rise of Skywalker, obviously.
Oh, of course, duh.
Number 11 is the Clone Wars movie. I don't think it's that bad. I tried not to be
Yeah.
blinded by my nostalgia for that one. At 10, we have Attack of the Clones. 9, The Phantom Menace. 8, The Force Awakens. 7, Return of the Jedi. 6, Rogue One. 5, Solo. 4,
Interesting.
A New Hope. 3, The Last Jedi. 2, Revenge of the Sith. 1, Empire Strikes Back. Now that I've said that, I'm going to edit this because it's not accurate. Revenge of the Sith is going in first. Empire can stay in second. I'm going to take The Last
So
Jedi down to 4th.
Okay.
And I think everything else can stay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I respect that. I respect that ranking. We didn't get to Rogue One or Solo in this month, but stay tuned next year.
I think next time you come over, we need to watch Solo because you've never watched it all
I've
the
actually
way through.
never seen it all the way through,
It's
which is
so
hilarious.
good for what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just a fun
I also love
movie.
Chewbacca. I love Chewbacca. He's my boy. Yeah.
I love Childish Gambino as Lando. What a
Okay, it's Childish Gambino. Homegirl, drop it like
What
the
a
Nasdaq.
great cast.
Yeah. Here we are. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us this Star Wars month. It was so incredibly fun. We got incredible support on it. We want to make it an annual thing, so come back next May for more Star Wars. We cannot wait to keep going. And unless you have anything else to add, I'm
Nope.
ready to wrap up here. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Nerdiest Podcast. If you have anything to add and anything to comment, there'll be a question down below for Spotify listeners. Otherwise, you can leave a comment on YouTube or Instagram, or send us a message and email, whatever you want. Make sure you follow on Instagram at the Nerdiest Podcast, on YouTube at the Nerdiest Podcast, Twitter at Nerdiest Pod, and go to thenerdiespodcast.com for exclusive merchandise. If that's still not enough for you, though, you could join the Nerdiest Podcast paid tier where you get exclusive access to the Nerdiest Aftershow, where we are doing our very own monthly movie club where we choose movies for each other to watch for the first time. So our first episode was out for that one, and it's talking about Tropic Thunder, which is wild movie we would never talk about on the main show. But coming up next this month is the Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir movie as a detox from the adult drama that was. Anyway,
Pendulum swung in the other direction.
The movie for next month will be revealed on that episode, but stay tuned. Make sure you listen to that. Thank you so much for listening again. We'll see you in the next episode. And until then, bye.
You missed a great opportunity to say, "May the Force be with you."
Aw, shoot. May the Force be with you.
Nope, too late.
Never mind. It's too late.